The measures that the government released today are devastating. They are far worse than those announced on October 13th, worse for Quebec, worse for its universities, worse for Quebec businesses who need talent, and worse for McGill. We have made thoughtful and realistic proposals to the government from the beginning of November until now, but the government has turned these against us. In the light of the damage these measures will cause, I can only view this as a targeted attack on institutions that have been part of Quebec and that have contributed to Quebec for hundreds of years. We categorically reject the position of the government. It is incoherent policy based on impressions and emotions rather than evidence-based decision-making that simply does not serve Quebec well. We will look at any and all options to ensure that McGill will continue to fulfill its mission to protect our academic excellence and to continue to serve its students from Quebec and from around the world. And Montreal is in the DNA of McGill, Quebec is in the DNA of McGill, and we are very proud of it. Now, I want to dispel any notion that McGill is about to leave Quebec. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about any other options that may be available to us, and we're going to look far and wide on what options are available to McGill to protect this institution against this very serious attack by our own government.
Just want to go back to the two other facets of what has been announced, one being the raising the tuition fee for Canadian students from other provinces, the other one being the tax of $5,000 on the international students in our universities. These two are basically, will have exactly the financial impact that, that we computed on the initial proposals from the ministry that came on October 13th. So we're still talking about these two specific measures having a financial impact of between $42 million and $94 million per year on the McGill finances, which is nearly 10% of our operating budget. But I also want to add that if you look at the potential impact of these additional franchisation targets, then we're talking about higher potential losses in addition to the numbers I just gave you, because one of the difficulties coming from this is the potential that international students will decide not to come to Quebec because of these additional constraints that they would have to spend one more semester learning French.
If a student that starts with 0 French has to go to level 5, it would take equivalent of 1 full semester to learn that French, and that semester has to be distributed across their degree. If you do that in a professional degree, you will no longer get accreditation because you are required to have a minimum number of credits from the professions in order to qualify. So either we go that path that we simply add more French into the total number of credits in a degree, which would make that degree actually non-accredited. They would not be approved by the accrediting bodies. Or if you add an extra semester, then we are saying to the students, you come to McGill, pay higher tuition, twice the tuition that you would pay at a competing university, University of Toronto or University of British Columbia, but you will have to stay 1 extra term. You can conclude from that very easily that no student that is thinking about their financial investment and the time it would take would choose to come to McGill. They would instead go to Ontario universities or elsewhere.